Not everybody wants to have a private jet. Not everybody wants to live on a farm. Not everybody wants to have a family. Not everybody wants to live in Alaska. Not everybody even wants to have internet. Not everybody enjoys being in the forest, and not everybody enjoys being on the beach. So there is enough money and resources to go around everywhere, worldwide. You just don't know what you truly want. And I know that because majority of people say this: I don't even know what I want out of life anymore. You don't know what you want out of life because you're putting your bank balance against your dream. But if money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing? This is how you find out what you truly want to do in life and what you should be doing in life. Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? Dominika coming to you live on Facebook once again. Today we have Mindset Monday, and I want to take you to a dreamland. A dreamland where you can contemplate what your life would look like if money wasn't a problem, if money didn't even exist. Because a lot of people feel really stuck, and they say, I don't know what I want out of life. I don't know what I should be doing anymore with my life. But the problem with it is that you're attaching money to your dreams. Majority of the times, it's the lack of money that prevents you from going a certain direction into your life, the direction where you actually want to be in your life, because you're allowing the money thoughts, the lack of money actually, to determine where you are gonna go with your life, where you're gonna take your life. So today I was really thinking about this topic. I went on a beautiful walk and I jotted down a few questions that I want to ask you. I want you to really contemplate them, think about them so deeply, because that will help you determine how you want to live your life. Feel free to drop the answers in the comments to these questions. Feel free to close your eyes and allow me to take you to a dreamland, so that you can also think about where would you want your life to be? How would you want your life to look like if money wasn't an issue? If you had unlimited amount of money, where would you be right now? Who would you be? And I wrote them down, and I want to go through each one of these. And as I say them, feel free to answer them in the comments. Feel free to just say the answers in your head, write it down, whatever works best for you. But as I ask you the questions, I'm also going to give you some ideas as to what that could mean. And remember, when you are answering those questions, the money is not a problem. The money is not a problem. You have unlimited amount of money. Okay? This is gonna be really fun, and I'm sure you will discover a lot of things about yourself and a lot of money beliefs that you have right now. And this will help you to grow even further and take your life the correct way, in the direction that you actually want to have your life. Okay? So let's go. As I said, feel free to close your eyes, jot down the answers, and listen to this video more than once if you need to, so that you can find the best life for you. Because your ideal life is just few thoughts away, a few dreams away. And if you stop allowing the lack of money to be the excuse why you're not living your life to your fullest potential, you are gonna change your life. Okay? So I wanna ask you, what would your ideal life look like if money wasn't a problem? Would you be a stay-at-home mom? Maybe a stay-at-home dad? Would you be, living on a yacht? Would you own a private jet and you could fly over whenever you want to different countries? Would you maybe be just one of these fun aunties or uncles that show up to family dinners with loads and loads of gifts? What would your ideal life look like if money wasn't an issue? Where would you live? Where would you live if money wasn't a problem? Would you live in Antarctica beside the wild polar bears and penguins? Would you live on a farm? Would you perhaps have a house in the mountains or a penthouse beside the beach? Or would you maybe just live in a small cabin in the woods and you would be gathering your fruit and vegetables every single day? Where would you want to live if money wasn't an issue? Where do you see yourself living? What job would you have? What job would you have? Maybe you would be a nurse. Maybe you would be a pilot right now. Maybe you would just be a farmer and you would spend your time picking up vegetables and fruits and planting and gardening all day. Maybe you would be an artist. Maybe you would be a full-time beautician. What job would you really love to have? What job would you have right now if money wasn't even the factor? You had unlimited amount of money. What job would you have? How would you spend your time? How would you spend your time? Your free time and majority of your time? Would it be with friends and family? Would it be alone in your room, decorating the walls in your room? Would it be creating something beautiful with your hands? Would it be hiking? Would it be saving people's lives? How would you spend your time if money wasn't even a problem? You had unlimited amount of money. What would you spend your time like? And who would you be with? What partner would you choose for the rest of your life if money wasn't a factor? If money wasn't the issue? Would it be that Prince Charming you always dreamed of? Or would it be that beautiful princess that you always wanted to have? What would that partner be like? How would they speak to you? What would they be doing on a daily basis? How would you want to spend your time together with that partner? Where would you live together? What would your life look like together? If money wasn't an issue, who would you be with? Maybe that special person is coming to your mind right now. Who would you be with? What would you dress like? If you had unlimited amount of money in your bank right now, what would you dress like? Would you maybe dress in beautiful silk dresses? Would you be wearing a suit every single day? Or perhaps you would be so happy wearing a simple hoodie. Maybe you would want to have your hair tied up every single day, or you would want it to be curled and beautiful every single day. What would you dress like? What would you look like if money wasn't an issue? What would truly make you happy? What would you speak like? What would you speak like if money wasn't the problem? Would you be using different vocabulary right now? Would you be speaking about your life and your future in a different way? Would you be speaking slower, more confident? How would you speak if money wasn't even a problem anymore? Where would you travel? If you had unlimited amount of money right now in your bank, where would you travel? Would you travel to Bali? Would you travel all over Europe? Would you maybe spend 90 days in India? Or perhaps you would take a skyrocket to the moon or somewhere. Where would you want to travel? Where would you travel right now? What trip would you book? Where would you be right now? If money wasn't an issue, where would you be right now? What business would you start? You have unlimited amount of money in your bank right now. What business are you starting? Perhaps maybe you don't want a business, but maybe you do. Maybe you're starting to realize that you always wanted to have a business with furniture. Or you want to start a business that provides water to isolated areas in the world. Or maybe you want to invent something new. What would you be doing? What business would you start? Or maybe you're realizing that you wouldn't want to be an entrepreneur. And that's okay too. What would your ideal life look like if money wasn't an issue? That's what this is about. So what would you be doing more of if money was not a problem? What would you be doing more of? Would you be spending more time doing arts and crafts? Would you be spending more time with your family or friends or your spouse? Would you maybe be baking more? Would you maybe be learning new skills in your free time? What would you be doing more of? If money wasn't a problem right now, what would you be doing more of? And what would you be doing less of? What would you be doing less of if money wasn't a problem right now? Maybe you would be drinking less. Maybe you would stop smoking. Maybe you would stop doing those drugs if this applies to you. Maybe you would stop complaining. Maybe you would be more happy. What would you be doing less of? What would you be doing less of? Wasting your time on jobs that don't appreciate you? What do you think you would be doing less of? And who would you hang out with? Who would you hang out with if money wasn't a problem? Those people that you currently have in your life? This circle of friends that you have right now? Or perhaps it would be someone else. Someone who lifts you up all the time, who inspires you and motivates you. Who would you hang out with? And where would you hang out? Would you be hanging out in the same places as you are right now? Or perhaps you would be hanging out on a yacht? Or would you be hanging out on your private jet? Would you be hanging out in the mountains, hiking? What would you be doing more of with that person, with that circle of yours that you would like to have in your life? What would you use your free time for? What would you use your free time for? If money wasn't an issue, you have unlimited amount of money. What would you be doing more of in your free time? Would you maybe like to paint more? Would you maybe learn new skills in your free time? Maybe you would be gaming more or playing an instrument. What would you be doing more of in your free time if money wasn't an issue right now? You wouldn't have to escape to alcohol, drugs, or quick dopamine hits. What would you be doing more of if money wasn't a problem right now? And what would you not be doing? What would you not be doing if you had unlimited amount of money in your bank account right now? Maybe you wouldn't be working that job you currently have. Maybe you wouldn't be hanging out with those people around you right now. Maybe you wouldn't be turning to alcohol, dopamine. Maybe you would be watching less of Netflix. What would you be doing less of? Maybe you would spend less time worrying and complaining about your life, your current situation, the lack of money. What would you be doing more of? What would you be doing less of? Who would you become if money truly was not an issue right now? Who would you become? Who would you truly become right now? Would you become a nurse? Would you become somebody who is the greatest speaker of all? Would you become a published author? Would you become an artist? Would you become somebody who is a true leader? Who would you become right now? If money wasn't a problem, who would you become? And what would your life be like? What would your life be like right now if you had unlimited amount of money in the bank? What would it look like? What would you be doing? How would you be spending your time now? Where would you even be right now? All of these questions that I asked you, if you truly answer them without thinking about the money, you are gonna truly realize what you really want out of life. Because some of you maybe started imagining a very simple life on a farm with few animals, few chickens, few vegetable plants, a family, and that's it. And you were complete. Some of you imagined other things, like being on a private jet, having an unlimited amount of money to spend on luxury handbags and clothes. Some of you imagined to work like working at a normal cafe, wearing a normal hoodie. And this is the beauty of it, because there is no one size fits all when it comes to your dream life. Your dream life looks different than other people's dream life. And that's why there is more than enough of money and resources for whatever you wanna do in life. However you want your life to look like, you can receive it and you can achieve it. But you're not gonna achieve it if you're trying to just work your ass off to achieve a life that you don't even wanna have. So many people think, oh, maybe I'll be happy if I do my nails every weekend, or maybe I'll be more happy if I have a yacht, or maybe I'll be more happy if I buy a house in the mountains. And the reason why they think that is because they watch other people online have that and they see that they are happy. So they think this is what I need in order to be happy. But today I want to break this paradigm for you and make you realize that your dream life looks completely different. It might be similar, but it does look completely different to a lot of people that you follow and a lot of people that you aspire to be like. Because I personally used to think like, oh, maybe I'll be so happy if, I don't know, like, if I'm gonna have like 10 kids because that person looks happy. And then I really contemplated it and I was like, I would not want a life like that. And then I maybe started thinking like, oh, I would be so happy living like a princess in a castle and not have to do anything all day. But then I was like, I actually would hate it if I would just have people running around me every single day without me having to move a finger. And I'm not talking about cleaning duties. I'm talking like just being there and existing. Because I always like to do something. So my ideal life is more to do with arts and crafts, creating, speaking, doing something productive with my time, and that makes me truly happy when I create something and I'm in my zone. So as you can see, everybody's dream life looks completely different. When you find out what your true dream life is like, you will have a bigger motivation to go for it, because this is what you truly, truly want. So what does your ideal life look like if money was not an issue right now? And I know that some of you might be thinking, Dominika, but the problem is the money right now. Let me ask you something. Does God have any limits? No. The answer is no. God doesn't have any limits. And you are created in the image of God. Of course, as humans, we have certain limitations, but God doesn't. So what do you ask God for? What do you really want out of your life? And I'm not talking about this materialistic stuff. I'm talking about living your life to your fullest potential. So many people allow the money to get in the way from achieving their dreams. Like, you might be somebody who wants to become a doctor, a pilot, an artist, and God gave you those talents and that dream in your heart. But you're saying like, it's never gonna be me because of the lack of money. It's not the lack of money, it's the lack of faith that's preventing you from achieving it. If you have more faith that it can happen, because you really, really want it and God cares about you, He will provide it for you. And He wants you to have this beautiful life. He puts you on this earth to have a beautiful life. God doesn't have any limits, and God is not broke. You might be broke right now because of your beliefs, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be the reality for you. Number one, you have to realize what you really want out of life. So I really hope that you will take some time now and really think about those questions I asked you. Well, what does your ideal life look like if money wasn't a problem? Who would you be with? What would you be doing? What job would you have? What would you be doing less of? What would you be doing more of? Where would you be traveling? What car would you be driving? Right? What would you owe? What would you have in your life? What kind of people would surround you? These are very important questions. And when you find the answers to it, and it's not hard, you just gotta sit with yourself for a little bit. Go on a walk if you need to. Meditate, pray, think about it. But that's how you will achieve the life of your dreams. Number one, you have to understand what your dream life look like. What does it look like? What do you have in your dream life? When you actually have the answers to those questions, then you will have what to live for. Then you will be motivated. And then money will show up. But you have to, number one, you have to realize what you want out of life. Because if you don't know what you want, how are you meant to get it? You don't even know what you want. How is God supposed to give you what you don't even know you want? When you contemplate all of the questions that I asked you, you'll make God's job easier. And He will give you what the desires of your mind and heart. Of course, with integrity. You won't receive it all at once. You know, if you're somebody who doesn't earn 5K a month, you are not gonna all of a sudden achieve $1 million month. It's gonna go in stages, because you have to become a person who knows how to handle that. But it can happen, and it will happen if you have faith. But it's gonna happen in stages. You won't be given everything all at once. Of course, it can happen. I mean, miracles do happen. And God can bless you beyond measures. But majority of the times, it's gonna happen in stages. But number one that's required of you is to realize what you really want. So what do you want? If money wasn't a problem right now, what would you want? Where would you be? What would you be doing? Who would you truly be? What would you be dressed like? What would you sound like? What job would you have? Where would you live? This is how you achieve the life of your dreams. Not by scrolling on Pinterest looking for inspiration. Of course you can do that, but it's to do with you and your soul. What is your soul telling you? Because let me tell you, not everybody wants to have a private jet. Not everybody wants to live on a farm. Not everybody wants to have a family. Not everybody wants to live in Alaska. Not everybody even wants to have internet. Not everybody enjoys being in the forest, and not everybody enjoys being on the beach. So there is enough money and resources to go around everywhere, worldwide. You just don't know what you truly want. And I know that because majority of people say this, I don't even know what I want out of life anymore. You don't know what you want out of life because you're putting your bank balance against your dream. But if money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing? This is how you find out what you truly want to do in life and what you should be doing in life. Not by looking at your bank balance. It doesn't start with your bank balance. It starts with your soul, your heart. Where do you want to be? Who you want to be? Who are you hanging out with? This is how you will go towards the life that you want. This is why so many people talk about, you need to have a clear goal. But it's deeper than a goal. You can set a goal and say, I want to buy a five-bedroom house by the age of 50 years old. Yes, it's a beautiful goal, but where is that house? What are the colors of the walls inside of it? Who are you living inside of it? Do you get me? You have to ask deeper questions. Really, really, really true questions to your soul. And that's how you will achieve the life that you want, because you will have a clear vision what you want. And then you ask God, how do I find it? How do I go about it? How do I achieve it? May you please give it to me? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And God will bless you. Because you deserve it. You've always been deserving. But somewhere along the way, people have told you, no, you can't get this. No, you can't get that. This is why right now you think you don't know what you want. You do know what you want, but you just don't think it's possible right now for you. Because too many people told you, no, no, no. You look at your bank balance all the time. Anything is possible. Once a person truly believes, when you really want something, it can happen for you. So I want you to take some time right now to really think about what I said to you today and figure out what you want. If money wasn't a problem right now, what would you be doing? This is how you figure out what you should be doing in life, where you should be living. And then you think about the next steps, how to get there. You pray about it. You contemplate your options. You do research. The internet, it's a beautiful place right now if you use it wisely. Ask God to guide you and He will. He cares about you and you can achieve whatever you put your mind on. As long as you know what you truly, truly want. You have to find clarity, and the best way to find clarity is by answering those questions I asked you. So for those of you who just joined the live stream right now, please go ahead to my Facebook profile where I will post the replay so that you can watch this video from the beginning in case you missed it. For those of you watching live or on a replay, thank you everybody so much for your time. I truly appreciate you. Take some time now to think about those questions. You are going to be shocked what will come up for you. I'm telling you. Every time I do this, different things come up for me. And it's so beautiful because it always gives me direction. It gives me so much clarity. So I know that this will help you too. So really, really do this. You'll change your life. Thank you everybody once again for watching. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you live tomorrow here on Facebook at 1 p.m. UK time for another amazing video. Bye bye.